The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor-producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Dr. Jolie. I want to offer congratulations to Sarah Tirri. She's with me at the Treehouse. We did 20 episodes.
Nice.
Can you believe it? 20 episodes. So let's just call that phase one.
Yes, I love that. Phase one.
So, but what do you want to do for phase two? I know we have some catching up to do because...
So the catching up will be the end of phase one. Let's do that today.
Okay.
And then we'll do phase two with the beginning of what we've gone through. So... yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So when you say catching up, I still have to catch up with you. You have to talk about Sally. We have to talk about Not Now. We can, whatever you want to do, but...
I want to hear what you have to say because we need to pick up from the last perspective.
Well, I was saying a lot, and I don't want to blow people out. So what I want to give this some context.
Yes.
Let's talk context, because
Okay.
I think you and I did a good job during the inauguration episode. Both at the intro and the outro, just kind of framing it up. But I want to be clear to the listeners and to our friends out there
Yeah.
that when we bring up topics, no matter what the issue is, it's not only for you and me to have some discovery as two friends just trying to navigate this world, but also to give them some tools that they can use as they navigate their worlds,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
is that pretty fair?
I think that's lovely.
All
yes.
right. So while we're mentioning that, I want to share that how much I appreciate the listeners. Our 20th episode, our 19th episode, which was the inauguration episode, was 400% higher than the next closest.
That's wonderful.
That was like one of the top. So that's
Good.
because people were circulating them and sharing them. And so we're just really grateful that, number one, that each of you are here listening with us and you're sharing with us. We do get notes and comments. And I would say, as a rule, they're very positive. So that's,
What about my swearing? Anything about Sarah using the F word?
Nobody has said anything
Well,
about
so
that.
Charlene, our friend, she called and she reprimanded me. She says, Sarah, you've got a very good command of the English language. You're articulate. Why? Because she's from South Africa, so why all the swearing? So if you notice that I'm not saying the F word so much, it's because I'm going to be fined if I do.
It's because we're only 3 minutes into the episode. Well, it's interesting. Let me just cover off on that because a lot of people ask me why I don't swear. And
I do enough for both of us.
It's actually an honor to my mom.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it's not because my mom told me, she's passed, she's on her way, she's in a better place.
Yeah.
But when I was very young, she always asked me, is that the best word?
Yes.
So I would use...
That's what Charlene said. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's like, is that the best? So she would ask, because my mom and dad were always playing Scrabble, and they were always playing crossword puzzles and word games and things. And so growing up, we always were learning new words.
Yeah.
Even when I was just a toddler, she'd give me a piece of paper and have me go under the steps, and because that's where we kept our food pantry, and find this. What's this? Beans. Beans. Go find beans.
Right.
And I'd go and I'd come back with some beets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sweetie, this is a good bee, but there's more letters. And so my mom was very deliberate about words and how to use words and when to use words.
Yes.
And as I got older, I realized that when we use the same words over and over and over again, like even greetings, I don't greet people with, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I don't do that. I ask, what's exciting in your world?
Yes.
It's very engaging.
Yes, it is.
When we use the same cliches, colloquialisms, whatever, I think it's mentally lazy.
Yes, I think that's what Charlene's point was. You can do better. But I don't think I can, because swearing in England is part of my conditioning, and it's rather a banality. So you might hear the F word again. See, I can't even say it now.
But you and I talked last week, and I dropped my entire year worth of
Did you?
F words.
Yes.
F
You
words.
did in 30 seconds.
Like in 30 seconds, right? So there's a time when that is
Yes, it's important.
those are the
Yes.
exact
Yes.
appropriate
Yeah,
words. So
I agree.
But it's okay, we're done with that.
Yes, we are
so
done
we
with
thanked our greeters, we talked about the F-bomb. So what I wanted to share was, as we go through the world around us, we talk about these different situations, these different things that are happening. It's not so much in life, it's not so much what happens to us, it's how we react to it. How do we interpret it? Mm-hmm. What can we do about it? Mm-hmm. There's certain things we can do things about, certain things we can't. What are your thoughts on that, just as a general topic?
Well, it's generally, everything's changing all the time, and you have to react to what's changing, but you can also cause the change, and that requires a lot of analysis and thinking.
So we can exert influence.
Yes, we have to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I got through one of these pages, but I'm not going to go through all of them in detail. I want to bring up points. I'm going to try to keep each point to a very concise.
Okay.
And then I got a piece of paper if you want to take.
No, I've got one here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to be listening because I'm really. No, I've got.
Yeah,
one.
because it's only because you asked me to do it.
Yeah.
And I just sat there.
Well,
with
it's your
notes.
wheelhouse, so yeah.
Well, it's really not my wheelhouse because I want it to be. It's because I think it's very relevant to all of us. We should be aware what's happening around us, not only because we can possibly impact it in a positive way, but also, hey, defensively, like what if this happens, what am I going to do?
What am I going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I say both. You got to focus on outer reality and in reality, and if you can do those side by side, then that's great.
And if we're really good at what we do, eventually the outer and the inner will match. Will match those.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So I'm not going to belabor any of these, but what we're talking about, folks, if you've not listened to episode 19, that was kind of an ad hoc add-on episode. It was not our regularly scheduled, but Sarah said, we got to do something about this inauguration and talk about it. Yeah. So she had her take, I had mine. I did not get through all my points, but I'm not going to go too deep.
Because I was too busy talking about Melania's hat.
But that kind of teed us off because I started talking about the signal corps and the different... Because she's the signal ship. Yeah. She's the ship. Yeah. And so all of the dresses she wore had certain codes and certain symbology to them. It's fascinating. It's been a fun, I'm going to say 8 to 10 years to watch this whole thing unroll. But so I'm going to continue with my list. It was interesting to watch Baron Trump.
Yes.
It was fascinating because he seemed almost out of place.
Yes.
He seems so collected and so mature.
And enjoying it. He's looking around.
He was just totally present.
He was very relaxed, very present.
Totally present, totally aware. So I thought that was fascinating to see. He also doesn't look like he's from these parts. He doesn't look like he's from this world.
I wonder if he is an alien.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there are people. I don't know that either, but I've read a lot about them, us being. I mean, there's a lot of talk about aliens and where we've come from, and we don't know. I mean, I don't know much about Barons, so...
And I don't either. And I know that there's some people, I think your friend Frank told me about this book, The Baron Trump. It's 150 years old or something. Candidly, I've not really I've not read it. I don't know anything about it. But,
I'll have to ask Frank. That might be interesting.
Now, we mentioned last episode, episode 19, that the lawful transition, the president's supposed to be sworn in right at noon. President Trump was actually sworn in a couple minutes after noon.
Was that planned?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But I just noted these things because it was the vice president who was being sworn in exactly at noon. Now, I think that what's more significant than that, to me, as a military operator, is I've never seen the swearing in and a cutaway to the cannons. Mm-hmm. They showed the 4 cannons blowing off. And there's certain things that the cannons represent. And you can go back and do your own deep dive on this stuff.
Oh, I will.
But
I've got it all recorded. I have a new light on it now.
So I think it's important that we pay attention to the cannons, because when the person that looked like Joe Biden was sworn in, the cannons, as they were firing, they didn't first of all, there was no officer present. There's always supposed to be an officer present when those cannons are going off.
It was probably in the cannon.
Well, I mean, there's some discussion about that, but the sequence of the volleys, you know, a 21 gun salute has got certain meaning. There's certain cannon volleys that represent certain things. And I'm not an expert, but, you know, I made a link in episode 19 in the show notes for Derek Johnson. He's a military expert. He knows the laws, the codes, the protocols. He knows all that stuff. So, but the thing is about the cannons is when Joe Biden was inaugurated, the cannon volley represented the same volley you'd hear at a funeral, not an inauguration. Ooh. So I'm just throwing that out there just as a point of discussion. I love the cadet choir. I think we talked about that. I think it was beautiful. The military presence was significant. I threw that back to Trump's inauguration back in 2017. Huge military presence. We talked about the golden age.
Yes.
I like the golden age because to me it represents so many things. It's the dawning of the age of Aquarius. We have this new this in comes the light. You know, from the
Yes.
dark to the light.
Yes,
There's a lot of that stuff going on.
Going on.
Really
sure.
enjoyed that. A lot of references to sovereignty and the need for safety and justice and the weaponization of the government against us and lawfare and things. I'm glad that those are coming into the conversation because those have been out of control and really weaponized against we the people for quite some time.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that those came into the dialogue. There was references to the sunlight ahead and that we have a crisis of trust. These are quotes that I think this is from President Trump, the crisis of trust. And what's interesting is when you look backwards, once you look backwards and you look at this through the lens of a military operation, what if every aspect of our government, of our world was corrupted? And it doesn't mean that every person in the FBI is corrupt. There's a lot of really good police officers, good FBI, good CIA. There's some really, actually, believe it or not, a handful of good politicians too.
And the rest of them?
Well, we don't know.
No.
There's a lot of them.
They need to come under the microscope.
Right. So I think that it's important we have these conversations. I asked a local politician here in Central Florida in an open forum, questions and answers. Simple question. I asked he was a state senator. Would you be open to a 100% audit of all politicians nationwide with respect to their oaths of office?
What was his body language like after you asked
closed.
him that?
Well, first of all, this guy's on his way out. He's
God.
I don't mean out of office.
You probably nearly killed him.
He's like a foot in the grave. I don't think he knew I was
Less
talking
than
to
that
him.
now.
But, he had his blonde little assistant there to deflect. And,
Benny, oh my God, that's so funny.
But he ran away from the question because all I was asking is,
He wasn't expecting.
can we audit the oaths of office?
I mean, it should have been a yes or no, really.
That's a simple question.
Yeah.
Would you back an audit of the oaths of office? Because there's a lot of people that don't have an oath of office, and we're talking judges too. Who's your allegiance to? Is it to we the people? Is it to the corporation? Or is it to another country?
I wonder if they even fucking...
I
wonder if they even know.
You're so funny. Sarah covered her mouth like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that.
Have we got a swear jar? You're going to be very rich.
I'll put 100. It's 100.
Oh, really? You're going to up the stakes?
So I really like that. I think that it's really important just to bring those into the conversation, though. He even mentioned that the government has extracted or permitted the extraction of wealth from we the people, and that there will be a restoration of that wealth. I have my ideas about what that means. For those of you who don't know, it's been on hold for a while, but I have Studio 17. That's another podcast I do. You can go to earthangelproject.com and find out where that plays. But I'll be covering some of this in more detail.
Good.
Because I think that'll be in a more appropriate place for some of the deep dives on this.
Yeah.
Especially when we start to talk about cryptocurrencies and real money and
You've got to talk
like
to my
that.
son about that.
Yeah. But they admit that government's broken, the health education, there's so many things in the public realm that are broken, or at least inefficient. So it was great to see those. His goal was to reverse the betrayals. So to reverse betrayals, and for me, that means you first must identify them and push those out on the stage.
For inspection.
So I think we're seeing that now. even as we go through these nominations for different places, some of these people are legit, and we know they're legit. I can enumerate them, There's others where you look and you're scratching your head like, seriously, they're putting that guy out front or that girl out front? Realize that the reason they're doing that sometimes is to expose them. He did that with Fauci. He's done that with other bad actors, Bill Gates. He puts them right out in front so they can be exposed for their beliefs.
It's an interesting maneuver, isn't it? Yeah, effective.
But that's what you want to do. You want to put the spotlight. It's like shining a light on the roaches. They scatter. They don't want to be in the light. So there's that.
Sunlight's lovely, by the way. If I scatter,
well,
you'll know who I am.
So I want you to know we never do 9 a.m. So I came up here to get things prepped for the studio. I washed that window because you would have thought I was a cigar smoker or something. It was like, what? Because the sun comes in that window, and I said, "Oh my God, she's not going to be able to see the birds."
It's beautiful.
So we don't go squirrel here. We go sandhill. Sandhill.
Yeah. It's that big fat one in the pond nesting.
I think they're nesting. Yeah. So they talked about Liberation Day. He said, this is not Inauguration Day. This is Liberation Day. Yeah. I thought there was a fascinating concept that he would say that. And as I say these things, as you look at the rerun, as you look at his whole speech, I think you'll be reminded of these things.
Yes, that's good.
They'll be pretty significant, right?
Listen to it and then watch.
Right. He says we're going to be winning by the millions.
Winning what?
Winning.
Winning
he
what?
Says winning.
Just generally.
Just winning.
Everything.
Yeah, because I'll talk about some of that on Studio 17, but all of the ways we've been losing, all of the things we've lost, really our entire lives since the 40s and 50s, really since World War I. We've lost so many things. We've lost control. We've lost trust. We've lost so many things. We've lost our money system. We were taken off the gold standard, taken off the silver standard. We don't even have valuable money anymore. It's just paper that they can just print. So when he says winning, I think it's across the board.
I have to just do this then, because if this money is not valuable anymore, I'm just going to leave it here and then you can use it as fertilizer. Here you go, darling.
It's probably good for toilet paper. So I'm almost done. I'm just got a few more here.
Take your time. It's fascinating.
These executive orders that are in place. Trump is not the first person to put out a crap ton of executive orders. Every president does them.
Yeah, it's very dramatic, isn't it?
But what they say, look, for those of you who have not tracked Commander Trump, he trolls people. I don't know if some of our listeners know what trolling means.
Sorry, I didn't for a while, but my kids taught me. Yes.
Trolling is the bomb.
Yeah. New form of entertainment.
Because for you and me, we have good sense of humor. We're balanced and stuff. If I'm nudging you, if I'm doing a humorous nudge to you, you're just going to hit me on the shoulder and say, "Oh, you crack me up," right? I mean, it's fun and it's a fun exchange. Trolling is when you have somebody that's needs to be exposed. You're going to expose them, or they're taking themselves so seriously, or their ideology so seriously, and you just nudge them and they come unglued.
Yeah, it's unraveled.
And that's where all these memes all these, you see layers of memes all over. But I think some of these executive orders are legitimate, putting stuff out there that need to be changed. And some of them, I think, are forcing issues that need to be discussed.
Right. Did you agree with them all?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
No, there's a lot of them. I was just like, wait, that's not going to... But realize, if we want to expose certain people within, say, the judiciary, the judges, the judicial system, if we want to expose the folly or how they cover for each other, or how they protect their people and let other people go to jail, if we still have to expose that to we the people, because there's a lot of people still have their head up their butt. They think everything's fine. So what they're going to find is these executive orders are going to force certain issues to be put out there. Like we're seeing that with Gavin Newsom right now.
He's the California dude, right?
The governor previously known as Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, okay.
But, this whole thing about the water and all the conditions with the California fires and all the buffoonery associated with that. Well, this is exposing a lot of people and showing how incapable they are And then that leads to the question, well, how did you even get your job? You can't even spell words correctly. How did you get your job?
Yeah, you couldn't even run a bath.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. How do you even get dressed in the morning? So I think a lot of what we're seeing with these executive orders is specifically to bring forth a narrative. Some of these narratives we were talking about on the back channels, on the bulletin boards, the covert bulletin boards, 8 or 10 years ago. So, but now they're in the public consciousness.
Exciting time for
which
you
is
guys,
where they have to be, really, just so we can learn to have meaningful discussions. Even like RFK Jr., he's out there. He's this week. He's going through all of his. I don't even know what they're called. Were they in?
He's quite easily ruffled, that guy.
Well, he's pretty spirited, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even agree with everything he says. But the point is, it's important that we have reasonable, rational discussions about these things. What is green energy? Is carbon in the air really a thing, or is that the plant?
Yeah.
Or is that the thing the plants need to grow?
Gosh, it's so confusing.
It's like
isn't it?
there's.
But the questions are what's going to get the answers.
It's the questions.
Yeah.
That's the point. Is we have to get them out there.
Yeah.
He talks about defeating inflation. That's really cool because
Is inflation real?
well, inflation is.
I know, but is it real? I don't know.
Well, it is because you can take a look at the value. What 1 ounce of gold would have bought. What would have 1 ounce of gold have bought in 1913?
Right.
And what 1 ounce of gold would buy today?
Yeah.
Not even close. It's not that the dollars are any more valuable. It's it's the same ounce of gold. It'll still buy basically the same thing, but the dollar equivalent is off the chart.
You've got to talk to my son. He told me exactly the same thing. That's so interesting. Yeah.
Because I mean, a dollar, a piece of gold is the same basic value. I say that, but the derivative markets manipulating gold and silver prices, all commodities for that matter. The derivative markets traded same as the COMEX. The COMEX is the commodity exchange market.
Okay.
It used to be that silver was traded as silver. So if silver was traded, there's a chunk of silver, a bar of silver, an ingot,
Yeah.
and it was worth so much. But what they did to manipulate that price to hold it down was they flooded the market with paper silver and permitted that to be traded in the COMEX the same as a regular silver. So now the commodity silver's traded with fake silver, which is paper, and that suppresses the price.
Yeah.
So as soon as this artificial suppression of price goes away, the silver's going to become very, very valuable.
And have you got a lot buried here, I hope?
Oh, we have silver buried all over the place.
Silver, baby.
We have buckets of silver
Sovereigns.
silver coins and things like that. All pre-1964.
Oh.
So now people got triggered when Trump was saying "drill, baby, drill."
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It was quite a childish way of saying it. But,
Yeah, and he does. He trolls people. So he's very smart. He's very deliberate. I say he. I've never met him. I'm observing what's going on.
Yeah.
To me, he didn't say drill for oil, baby, drill for oil. He just said drill, baby, drill.
It could be drilled down. It could be anything. It's quite ambiguous if you start penetrating
Right.
that.
And so what I think about drilling, I'm thinking two things. Number one is primary water.
Uh-huh.
You have to study primary water. It could be another show.
Okay.
But there's so much fresh, clean, beautiful, structured water right under our
under the
feet.
aquifer, yeah.
Oh, we have below the aquifer.
Below.
Yeah, it's
Below,
actually
right.
some of the most pristine water actually comes
I said
from
under the aquifer.
under. Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes from.
Isn't below under?
Well, there's the aquifer, which is
That's the top layer.
well, that's a pocket of water.
Okay.
But primary water is actually deeper. It's actually where the pressure.
So if we had access to that primary water, that would do wonders for our health.
We have tons of it. So we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But primary water is beautiful. It's It's fresh right from the core of the earth, and you can get it up in the mountains. You can get it anywhere, really. It's abundant.
Oh, bring back primary water.
It is primary water. It's
Need
so
to get
beautiful.
a T-shirt slogan with that.
So that's one type of drilling. I personally think we're going to see natural gas. We're going to see more natural gas. The beautiful thing about natural gas is it's so much cleaner.
Big in England.
It's so much cleaner. It's just a better way to go. It's for so many reasons. So he said drill baby drill, but it wasn't really clear what that
He probably
meant.
just had toothache and was calling out for a dentist.
All right, yeah. So he talked about manufacturing coming in here. There's a big thing about importing labor and whatever happens. It's an important discussion. If we were in the 1800s, import that labor because we have to pick cotton. Well, what's different now? I mean, you're the same Democrat or Republican. What's different? Have we not progressed in the past 150 years? Can we advance this discussion about that stuff? So I swear I'm getting through this.
No, it's fascinating.
They talk
And
about
then the listeners can write any questions.
Oh,
We've got
absolutely.
to break this down.
In fact, let me just say this. Some people have contacted me directly with these questions. Please just go to souldecodes.com. If you go to the individual episode at the bottom, just skew all the way down, there's a section there for discussion. You just log in and say what's on your mind.
I'm going to do it tonight.
That way, all of us, and it goes for, you can even go back to the old episodes, but that way we can all be on the same page. We can have conversations about whatever topic and just chime in. And this is all about exchange of
ideas,
meaningful exchange of ideas. So, I swear I'm getting through this.
No, that's great.
I feel so bad.
You're going to turn this into a fan when you're done, won't you?
We talked about American exports. I'm super excited because I think that the melting pot of legal people who have been in here legally. See, people came to America with a dream, right? They didn't come because they're going to get handouts. They came because they had a dream for an equal opportunity.
But they came because life sucked where they were and they wanted a better one, didn't they?
Right. And I think that we're going to see a resurgence of that. People are going to come here not because they're going to get a handout. They're going to come here because we have a stable monetary currency that's backed by precious metals. We're going to see a decrease in government regulation, which he actually mentioned with the Doge, D-O-G-E. For those of you who don't know, there's a Doge coin. It's a cryptocurrency. I bought 50,000 of them.
They're buried next to her silver.
Actually, I lost them because they were on an exchange in New Zealand. It was a New Zealand exchange I used because I couldn't buy them here.
Oh, okay.
So I had 50,000 and that exchange went defunct.
It plummeted, yeah.
So I lost 50,000.
That's the gamble,
Doge.
isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, so you got to know.
It is a gamble, but
yeah,
more
so they're
wins
worth
than losses.
I bought them at like a fraction of a penny, and now they're worth 33 cents or something.
I love it.
But no, I don't, because that's 20 grand down the toilet.
Yeah, but it's not down the toilet. You're learning.
Oh, it was definitely worth it. I learned a lot.
Definitely, yeah, exactly.
I'm so smart.
Yeah, 20 grand well spent.
I'm 20 grand smarter. So I like that they revoked the Green New Deal. Again, people got triggered from that. Our Earth Mother matters. You know, you're going to pollute. No.
So do you think the Earth's in danger or not?
No.
No, me neither.
No.
And people think I'm batshit crazy when I say that. We'll have to do an episode on that.
Well, yeah, but remember, they're identifying with a narrative that's been put out there.
Yeah, I know.
And these narratives are designed to be divisive. We can't be divided. We united, we're strong. You know, Sarah, you and I have different ideas. Last week we talked about all sorts of places where we were maybe kind of dancing around an idea, but we didn't have any cohesion. We didn't have any resonance. So you and I sat down with slightly disparate ideas. We came together, we had a discussion, and we came to some resolutions.
Yeah, we did.
If you and I could do this
The world can do it.
the world can do it. I mean, most of us.
I love that.
Most of us feel. We have the similar feelings. We have the similar desires for our family. We want peace and love and joy. We want our neighbors to be happy and healthy.
And priority water.
And primary
priority.
water.
What is it called? Premier water? Primary.
So I do think that I don't like mandates of any kind. So getting rid of an electric car mandate is awesome.
Okay, that's interesting.
When you look at the electric cars as a rule, like
Elon's not going to like you saying this, is he? Hello, Elon. You're going to have to change your game, baby.
I refer to him like Mike King does as Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's even him.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
oh, God.
It's different.
Different episode.
That's a Studio
Elon,
17 episode.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank God. I don't want to go there.
Elon Musk. Yeah. So I like the idea of building automobiles here, but I also am excited about the anti-gravitation automobiles. Having different. We need different.
Did you see the movie June?
June.
Dune, D-U-E-N-E.
Oh, Dune.
Dune. Sorry, yeah,
for
Dune.
you Americans,
Dune,
that's
I know. They had suspensor suits. The Harkonnen had a suspensor suit. So basically he's in this big bubble. He's too lazy. He can't do anything. And he eats. And he presses a button. And he just goes around in the air, up and down, zooming. And there was no need to walk. So his muscles are all dystrophied now.
Wait, is this a cartoon?
No, this is Frank Herbert's Dune, and it's a movie, so you have to watch
When they're
it.
out in the desert.
Yes,
and all that stuff.
yeah,
Okay,
Arrakis.
I think I saw parts of it.
Yeah, well, look at the suspensor suit, because that's the next thing we need to invent. Well, it's already invented. We need to get one of those out
Wasn't
there.
there a cartoon like similar to that where
don't
people
know.
were so fat they couldn't even? It was somebody's gonna make it in the show notes. It was some silly name like. I'll figure it out. But it was that everyone was so fat they couldn't even maneuver. It was.
Yeah, I think that's what there was necessity for him. Yes, he couldn't, so he needed to get it through the air. But
they needed technology to do every basic function.
Yes.
It's almost like, hey, would you poop for me? It was.
Oh, God,
it was so
that's
ridiculous.
horrific, isn't it?
So, the overhaul the trade. I like that they discriminated between citizens and foreign nationals. Again, the idea we're talking about, it was actually in his presentation, complete discrimination between citizens and foreign nationals. So for those of you who are not familiar, if you look at if you wanted to get a United States passport, okay,
Which I have.
If you look at the form you use, it's called a DS-11.
Oh, I bought mine on the black market.
Oh, see?
Yeah, no form for me, baby.
I like your way better. But the DS-11 is called DS-11, Department of State,
Okay.
Form 11. Well, if you look at the very top of it, it says that this form is only valid for U.S. citizens and non-citizen nationals. U.S. citizens and non-citizen nationals. Well, what's a non-citizen national? If you're a U.S. citizen, your boss or your allegiance is to the United States corporation, which was Washington, D.C. I think that's going to turn into the city of Washington.
Oh.
Okay, I think they're going to rename it. D.C. is going to go away.
And that's District of Columbia, isn't
Right,
it?
which
Never knew what that meant.
is one of the three cities. There's the Vatican is one of the
Okay.
three cities.
Principalities.
Then there was London and Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay, that's not a
So
principality.
there's the spiritual control gambit, which is the Vatican. It's spiritual. They're going to control you spiritually. London was the control for finance,
Okay.
right? And then D.C. was really the force, the military, the CIA, so there was all three of these three-pronged approach to control the world.
God.
And they all cooperated. And so that's over. That's done. So that's all being exposed, and that's kind of exciting for me to see.
Yeah, I bet it is.
But the idea of just understand we have different categories of people depending on where they have their allegiance, and there's differences in the types of Americans. Like right now, I'm currently still a United States citizen. My desire is to become a non-citizen.
Yes, you'd
National.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So
a
that'll be a
preferred
different episode too.
status.
We just identified like 50 episodes.
I know. That's good, isn't it? All
So-
material.
Stop censorship and free speech. I will say this: I hear them say stop censorship and be an advocate for free speech. On one end, I hear people say, "But what about hate speech?" Look, you either have free speech or you don't. There's no hate speech. I know you disagree with that.
No, I don't actually. I'm on the fence about that because
Really?
I've talked to my husband about it back and forth, and we couldn't get to consensus on that.
Well, tell me what the
Well, because freedom of speech is important, and the moment you mandate what someone can say, you've lost that, right? So it's just gone. So, but can I call someone a fucking bitch in the street? Yes, and I can, I guess. It's not the world I want to live in. So, but I don't want that mandated either. So it's just like, it has to be free, you know.
Well, and one of my favorite people in the world that I've never met was Ron Paul, and he used to say, "We don't have free speech to talk about the weather. We have free speech to talk about very divisive things. If I need to yell and scream at my politician because they're not doing their job, that's why I have free speech.
It's anarchy.
If I have to call out a police officer for the corruption within his department, if I have to go to the judge." If I have to confront a judge for not doing their job, I don't need to be arrested. I need to be listened to. I need the press to put their mics on me.
Right.
And say, well, Dr. Phillips, why do you feel like this judge is corrupt?
Yeah.
Right?
It would be nice if you didn't have to scream and shout to get heard, though, wouldn't it?
I'd like to just have a press.
Yeah. Yes, just listen.
A
and can we
press
have
corps that can say, why do you feel the way you do? Hey, Judge, Dr. Phillips says this about you. What do you think?
Yeah.
Will you put your hand on the Bible and swear that that's not true? I guess Dr. Phillips is right?
Bring on the bubble-headed bleached blonde. She's probably got something more to say.
So the censorship-free speech, that's great. I don't think we need an executive order for those things.
We shouldn't have to, should we?
It's part of the Constitution. We don't need that. So sometimes, again, that goes back to my position that these executive orders, it's really to put the spotlight on things, I think, to some degree, like the free speech stuff. So,
I mean, the books I write, I'm very free and I want to speak.
I love that.
Yeah.
And
I'll say whatever I want.
Your books are awesome, and your books should not be censored ever.
They will be.
But sadly, some of the best books in the world have been censored.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. I think I mentioned this quote once, Emerson's, every banned book enlightens the world. So ultimately it doesn't work, but still sucks.
There was a lot of discussion, even now, about getting rid of affirmative action programs, these programs that just because you're a girl or a minority.
So meritology then. Yeah. So you're in favour of that?
Well, I think that I don't believe in any restrictions. I believe you should put a standard out there. If the standard says you need to do 20 pull-ups and you do 20 pull-ups, I don't care who you are.
And what about if one does them quicker? I mean, if I had a business, I'd want it just merit-based only. Well,
that's the thing. A lot of the stuff, like the next thing I have on this list is Trump says that there's only going to be two genders. But when you listen to what he said the United States, again, he's talking about the corporation. The United States corporation is only going to recognize, he didn't say the word corporation, but he says
that's what he means.
The government. When he talks about the government, he's talking about the government. And this is a good time to talk about this. We have this Constitution, the United States Constitution. That doesn't give me my rights. The United States Constitution, I don't have free speech because the Constitution says I do.
Because you're a human being.
I have it because God gave me
That's right, baby.
freedom. The Constitution is not there to tell me what I can do. It's to tell the government what it can't do.
Yeah.
The Constitution is to limit, it's in your face government. These people are free. They are permitted to pursue life, liberty, and pursue happiness.
Yeah.
And if you freaking get in their way, they have a right to replace you.
You nearly said the F word then.
Yeah, friggin'. Yeah, I know, right? So, but the meritocracy, I like it. I think that there's specific times when that is.
What don't you like about it?
There's a tendency within power structures to have cliques. But this could be all the way down to an HOA. So you're not gonna legislate you're not gonna executive order your way out of it. You're not gonna create laws that are gonna get out of it. People are gonna align themselves based on their own selfish interests. So I think that the answer is free speech. If we have an HOA, I hate HOAs. It's
so does my mother-in-law.
The HOA is to the neighborhood what DC is to the government. It's like, God, they're both swamps, But just think this through, because an HOA, they have all these people that want, we want the doors a certain color and the lawn mowed a certain way and no parking on the street. All of these restrictions. Now, the difference is, during an HOA, you get to opt into that neighborhood or out of it. Like you can go to the next neighborhood over because it's very centralized control. But the cliques, the alignments, those little political power plays within that organization are very obvious. And once those are entrenched, it's very hard to get them to budge.
Right, so the meritocracy doesn't exist. It's like a nepotism, favoritism.
It's just all favorites. Hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and all that. So that would have to go before meritology would be useful. Right. So we have to look at the whole picture. In DC, everyone's scratched. They're all in bed with each other. I say scratching each other. They're all like paying each other off. It's pay to play. Well, here's an example. How do you take a congressman and you look at their salary? It's published, right? They make so many $100,000 a year. They go in for 4 years making, let's just say, $250,000 a year, whatever the number is. They go in making $250,000 a year. They come out with an $80 million net worth. How do you even do the math?
Yeah.
So you have to say there's something going on there. Is it insider trading Nancy Pelosi? I mean, is it inside trading? Is it special deals? Is it pay to play Hillary Clinton? Is it, hey, I'll get this uranium one deal done so these foreigners, our enemies, can buy our uranium as long as you pay my husband to come and speak and pay him $5 million for a speech, right?
Christ.
All of this pay to play things. And then also the other stuff is
pay to play.
Do the deep dive on who Fauci's wife is and what Fauci's wife was responsible for doing.
It's probably an alien.
Well,
I don't know anything about Fauci's wife. Okay.
Well, you never hear about her because they don't want you to hear about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she was in charge of the pharmaceutical ethics.
Oh.
How do you even How
what?
is the media?
We don't even know that.
How is the media not even aware of that?
God, that is unbelievable.
So here you got this dirtbag, this perpetrating medical fraud on the world, and then his wife.
That's the whole episode we need to get into.
Well, that's going to be a Studio 17 talk.
Okay, right.
But see, if you just open your eyes, these things are out there. We've been covering this stuff for 8 years now. Some of this stuff. So. This is nothing new. I just feel good that some of this is coming into the...
Yes, I think I'm making it mainstream. Keep it out of Studio 17 and put it in here and let just people hear it.
But and this is just... I'm just trying to put closure on this because we said we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, but I like the color blindness. I like he talked about the two genders.
What was it? Colorblind, and what was the other that went with colorblind?
Meritocracy.
I can't remember what he exactly said, but I remember writing that down. I'll look at my notes.
So for those of you that got triggered by the two gender
yeah.
thing, there's two genders. Look. We the people, there's 330 million of us. That means there's 330 million ways that we are interested in sex. Mm-hmm. We're interested in
body shape,
experiencing body shapes, body types,
hair.
There's people that do tattoos over every scrap of their body.
Yeah.
It's like you do you. Mm-hmm. If you want to shave your head and shave your eyebrows, do whatever you want. Just do it. Mm. But when you start to talk about the government dictating who's who, what's what. See, I'm not interested in a world that's they're all about what's in my underwear. Mm. I want a world, they want to know what's in my heart.
In your soul, yeah.
What's my soul all about?
Fuck the avatar part, right?
If you're interested if your biggest thing and you need to make some executive order about what's in my underwear or what bathroom I have to use, we have no country. This is a dictatorship. So,
and it also sounds, from that perspective, very petty as well, doesn't it? Is this what we're going to focus on?
Are you really focusing on what's in my underwear? Yeah. Is that what this conversation's about?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to have another conversation about this. Yeah.
So I like the COVID reversal. I don't call it COVID. I call it not flu, because when the first year COVID was measured, the flu numbers were 0. Basically, they took all the flu numbers. If you look at the metrics, the flu was gone that year.
Yeah.
They stamped them off.
Oh, my God.
I love the back pay for the military, those people.
Oh, good.
Which I'm going to just go tell you this.
So tell me about the back pay. So that's...
Yeah, so they're going to replace all the people that stood on their ground and said, you're not putting that junk in my veins. They were released from the military.
Yeah. Charlene's husband was forced to have that. And he said he would walk out.
So a lot of them walked out. And they lost their pay, they lost their benefits. All of them are going to be reinstated. All of them will be brought whole. To me, they should be given extra credit. They should be given interest because those people stood their ground based on principle. And the truth is coming out that they were actually factually correct. When you look at the deleterious effects of these jabs, the myocarditis.
Well, I had one, so don't get me into that.
Well, I mean, it is what all we can do is clean you up the best we can.
Oh, I don't think you're going to stand a chance of cleaning me up, baby. my mouth.
So the military is to defeat America's enemies. I don't want enemies. I think we can do a better job. Whatever happened to statesmanship? All of a sudden, our first thing, we have this false paradigm where you're either our friend or you're our enemy, and we're going to drop bombs on you. Whatever happened
If you
to...
look at the Bible, I can't remember how many times the word enemy appears.
Right.
Like, what the... It's like, what a premise. What a premise to divide you. Mentioning the word enemy, there it is, enemy, right out the gate. It's that division exists.
Whatever happened to this idea that Sarah can have an idea, Jolie can have an idea. They could be different ideas.
In order to reach ideals.
And we could just find out what we have in common.
Yeah.
And just say...
Which is way more
let's
than
celebrate.
some petty difference.
Let's just celebrate with the things we have in common.
And we're encouraged not to do that, yeah.
And let me know why do you feel like cows should be purple? I've never thought about painting my cow purple, right? And it's like, well, it's because... Because
you might be persuaded.
They'll look
cows.
better in their pink shoes. So I love the messages of peace and no new wars, things like that. There's a lot of narratives out there.
No new wars is huge.
Yeah, we're done.
That's one of the
with
reasons
wars.
I really thought that he's not going to get us into a stupid war in his first term, and he didn't. And that to me, if he didn't do anything else, is vital.
Yeah.
Right? If he didn't do anything else.
I think we're at a place, I think we're going to see the United States peace flag displayed as early as May.
Wow.
Of this year, as early as May. And I have reasons to believe that, but I like he mentioned he's a peacemaker and a unifier. I love the peacemaker stuff, but the unifier, I don't want us all to be clones. I don't want us all to be forced to think a certain way. I personally love the diversity.
But in order to get unified, you do have to have some type of agent of chaos to come in, break all systems down in order to get unified. So he could be serving both roles.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm almost there.
Are you?
Yeah. Thank you all for your patience.
No, it's been great.
So he talked about the Gulf of America.
Oh, that was funny.
So regardless of whether that's a thing or not.
Hilarious. I thought,
whoa. By the way, the moment...
But I think, is he trolling and flexing? Was that real? I mean, I just couldn't even believe it.
Well, I don't know because, the first thing I did was I went to the internet registrar for domains. And I looked to see if Gulf of America was available because I wanted to buy it. But it was already taken. Somebody was selling T-shirts or something.
Oh, wow, that was good.
Like,
yeah, that's great.
But I always first thing I do is go, look, is that
check
available?
the domain name to see.
Yeah, check the domain name. Well, I did that with a drink. There's a drink that came out. People are getting sick, really, really fatally ill with it. It's called the skinny jab. Huh? The skinny.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
The skinny shit.
Yes.
I can't say the word. It starts with a letter O. It starts with the letter O.
Can't you say O?
But, they take it and then their gut shuts down and they lose weight because they're shutting down their gut and then they end up dying. And
really?
there's all these lawsuits and stuff.
Have people died?
Oh, there's tons of lawsuits. So I bought this domain. There's an alternative for those people who want to lose weight. I bought this domain called The Blue Drink. The Blue Drink. Everyone remembers The Blue Drink because I remember the company that...
The Blue Drink comes from the purple cow?
Yeah, it goes from... But this company launched an alternative it tastes like lemonade. It's a blue drink, right? And they kept calling it The Blue Drink instead of the real name. The real name's called Aqua Lean, but it's a blue drink. They kept calling it The Blue Drink, so I went online. It was during the initial broadcast of this new product. So I go online and it's available. So I bought the domain thebluedrink.com. So
fabulous.
Because that's what entrepreneurs do, right?
Yes, that's right. Well,
this is a throwback.
You could sell it now for $2 million.
When I was up in Michigan, the internet was still pretty new and I was working on a project with a website developer he had his own website development company. I was putting together a project that was going to market there were sports teams that couldn't use the official school websites. Like the school websites had to be this, all this. They had all these things, but to have the teammates talk to each other, like if the parents wanted their own little group or the teammates or the coaches, if they wanted to talk to each other, there was nothing. So I created a beta, like a template for my son's wrestling team. And I thought, if I could do this for my son's team, why don't I scale this nationwide and let everybody use these? And I could have everybody, every team, everywhere, have their own pod, their own little private place where they can communicate as a team. And I called it Varsity Solutions.
Nice.
All right, that's fair. Well, I got a call out of the blue while I was developing this program. and this attorney was like, "Hey, I'd like to buy your name for my client." I'm like, "It's not for sale. Bye." And there's like, called me back.
I was
Like,
gonna say,
next
did he
day, he's
call
like,
back?
"Well, everyone's got a price. What's your price?" It's like, I'm in the middle of building this project.
Your head.
It's like, I don't.
Your head on a plate.
It's like, I'm building this project, and he's like, I said, I'm not interested. And he says, well, what about, at the time a domain was like $5 or something. I don't know. He said, well, what about $500? I'm like, what part of it's not for sale do you not understand, right?
Was this a playful exchange?
Yeah, very much. Yeah. Everything I do is playful.
Oh, good.
Until it's not.
Until it's not.
And then it's like not a good look. But then a couple days later, they call and said, we really want this domain. How does $7,000 sound? I said, no, myself was saying sold. But I had to play it cool, so I said, I got to go talk to my partner about this. Just call me.
And she's not back till next week.
Call me in about an hour. So I go down to the kitchen. Robin was in the kitchen. It's like, hey, you mind if I sell this domain for $7,000? She's like, what are you talking to me for? Go get it.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are you doing here?
Because I told her, I told the guy I'd talk to my partner. So long and short.
You should have said 7,001 cents.
I know, right? But anyway, I got $7,000 for this domain. So every time there's a domain that I think is going to be valuable,
that's great.
I just jump on it for like, what's it cost? For some of these, you pay a penny for the first year, and it's $20.
Yeah, mine was something like 15. I've got a few of them. Yeah.
Well, I got Soul Decodes when you said, when you finally settled on a name, I'm like, Soul Decodes, hey, it's available. Like, it was like, what, $20, something like that. So anyway, the Panama Canal came up.
Gosh.
Carter sold it for a penny or something.
Yeah, I heard that.
So the Gulf of America connected to the Panama Canal. This all makes sense to me. I also know that there's a conversation going through Nicaragua for a wider canal. It's going to be about 80 billion. We'll see if that plays in. But I don't know if that's trolling or not. You talked about landing on Mars.
Oh, that was interesting, wasn't
Landing
it?
on Mars, really?
Yeah, really.
It's like, how are we going to do that? We've never been to the moon yet.
Yeah, but what really pisses me off about that, why are you spending your money landing on Mars when there's kids starving in Yemen? I mean, how could you even wake up in the morning?
So,
I
love that you asked that question because we're not going to land on Mars because we've never been to Mars. You can't land on Mars. We've never even landed on the moon.
Yes, I know. God, I don't know, but you said that before. It's so interesting.
I mean, if
this was all just
if we've landed on the moon,
what's the point in lying to us? Just get us all.
Yeah, I love that you're asking those questions. That's the purpose. So saying that we're going to land on Mars, I think it's a troll. Mars is actually, when you hear, there's a lot of double meanings. So when you hear Trump say something, it means something else usually. Okay. And Mars is an acronym.
For what?
It has to do with the emergency broadcast system.
Ah.
So, two more things. We're done. We're a nation made under God. We're a nation made under God. I'll throw this your way because how do you feel when you hear a nation made under God?
My first thought was we're a nation made of gods because that's what we are.
Okay.
Right? Because we're all gods in the making.
Yeah, because
But there is a higher up level of intelligence. So
yeah, and the problem I have with the nation under God, I don't have any problem with God. I love God, and God loves me. But this idea, everyone's interpretation of God is different, and so
that's what I'm working on.
That's the problem, and that's why your work is so valuable. For those of you listening and you don't know it, you can go to souldecodes.com. Sarah's got all of her books. There's a library there. You can go check out her books. I love your books. I think they're great. And I also thought it was very cute that they closed with Carrie Underwood.
I thought that was cute.
But think about what happened there. We've got the most meaningful, all eyes in the world, everywhere in the world, focused on this event, a fake inauguration, right?
Yes.
It's a
fake. God.
It's a fake inauguration.
God, is it? Jesus.
So all eyes are on this event. We're about ready to sing this. It wasn't a cappella planned, but it was this singer. They're waiting for the background music.
So did that fail?
Well, so let me ask you, how is it possible? How is it humanly possible at the closure? Think about the humor of this. This is, to me, this is the major league trolling. When I saw this happen, I'm like, this is
my
epic.
God.
Out of all this stuff, this is the frosting on the cake.
How could anyone keep a straight face?
Frosting on the cake, because this is exactly how you would close a bogus military operation. Like, this is exactly how you'd close it, is with, this is like being in the auditorium and the cheerleaders are standing around waiting for the song to start. You know, it's just like, can we have some music so we can do our routine? Yes. Can we do our routine?
There's an elephant in the room.
But I thought she wrapped it up, the acapella.
Lovely voice.
But think about what happened. They were relying on this is just almost metaphoric. They're relying on some bureaucratic person to push a button to get the music to play so we can all be singing to the music. But that didn't happen.
That was quite spooky.
So what happened was just the opposite. She relied on we the people. She said, I'm doing this a cappella, and the choir of people responded in replacement.
And that was ad-libbed?
I don't know.
No.
But that was my takeaway.
Either way, it's impressive.
I took that away. I'm like, wow, this is a failure of government right in your face. Epic failure. The music didn't even play. And now you've got this girl standing up there going, well, if it's going to...
I didn't see it. Did
if
she
it's going to be, it's up to me. Like,
but was that revealed in her body language? Did she think, well, what the fuck's going on?
She was sitting there looking around like, well, she's a performer, so she wasn't.
Yes, she's not fazed by this. No, but she must have thought, wow, this is odd.
Yeah, she was nonplussed. She was just like,
okay, good. Yeah,
and she was all beautiful, like
this
gorgeous girl, just hanging out, and she's smiling and nodding. And then there's cutaway, and the people are looking at each other like, what the hell's going on? But to me, again, it's an epic failure of government, an epic systemic problem. No, everything stops. Nothing's working, but it took one we the people, one person. It was her. Carrie Underwood stands up and says, we've got this, people.
Wow.
And she sung, and everybody else sang with her. That to me was the triumph, was the very end of it. Singing triumphantly with we the people in unison, voluntarily. So when we talk about unity...
We should end the show right there. I don't think we should, but right there, we can't now, but that would have been a great place to cut it, there.
Unity is not from the top down, it's from the bottom up. Yeah. It's when we come together voluntarily.
Yeah.
And so, anyway...
Go Carrie. That's a great perspective.
I want to thank you, because I did all those.
That was great. You did really well, darling. Did you say everything? Can I ask you one question before we check out?
This is all about you.
So, why wasn't his hand on the Bible?
That's a really good question. So, first of all, I don't have the script. The only thing I can do is share with you my perspectives. If he's operating as the commander-in-chief currently, and there's a lot of reasons I believe that he still is. This is a continuity of government phase 4 we just entered. He can't be sworn in. What is the president of the United States? Well, the vice president got sworn in. Hand on the Bible, you clearly saw it. He got sworn in. So he is an agent now of the United States Corporation. Now, the United States has been bankrupt 3 times. So he is basically, the vice president is going to manage the controlled demolition of the remnant called the United States government. This is my opinion. Y'all, this is all my opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me what to say.
And we've said that every show. These are ideas.
So he's going to, this is, instead of having the country crash, we have a double system now that's been very divided. We need to bring it back together. The military's been in control. So this guy named Biden was in there. His last act was to rescind Executive Order 13961. He rescinded key elements of that. The only thing, basically, what he said was, my work here is done. Because Trump, before he left office, put Executive Order 13961 in place as a continuance of government in his absence. So basically, what that 13961 did was gave the operating instructions for the actor known as Joe Biden to operate in his absence. So Trump could be behind the scenes as the commander. Biden's operating the government according to these operational guidelines. Now his term's over. We need somebody to take Biden's place. That would be the vice president under the direction of the commander, who's Trump. But he wasn't sworn in for this reason. This is the This is the punchline.
Okay.
First of all, he can't be sworn in because he's the commander in chief.
That's what I was going for. Yeah.
All of the presidents.
Is he even legally so?
Constitutionally. If you're under constitutional law, January 20th is not Inauguration Day.
What's the significance of not touching the Bible?
Well, listen to what I'm saying. January 20th is not constitutionally.
Oh, so we're right.
That's not the right day. Forget about noon. Yeah. It's not even the right day.
Forget about the Bible. We've come out the gate.
It's not even the right day. Forget if it's noon or not. We're completely on the wrong day. We're on the wrong calendar, and the inauguration's supposed to be the first week of March.
So basically, you're just saying the whole thing's a pantomime.
Yes, it was a show.
I love it,
and it was a hilarious show too.
Oh, I love it.
I watched Barack Obama walk down the aisle by himself, nobody with him. Completely alone in the hallway. That was the way this is scripted, the way it was brought out was so metaphoric. When you look at all of the players, most of those people, they're actors, they're dead. Those people in the backdrop, a lot of them are dead already. They're traitors. So this is Studio 17 stuff. But you asked me about Trump. Why wasn't he sworn in? He couldn't be sworn in because first of all, it's not the right day yet. I expect it's going to be I think it's March 4th or 6th, first week in March. That's the constitutional day. Prior to, I think, 1871, all of the presidents were sworn in March. President Trump, everyone's saying he's the 47th president. He's actually, in the constitutional United States, he'll be the 19th president. So he'll be the 19th president. Constitutionally speaking.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So anyway, thanks for listening to me blabber.
No, it was so interesting. That really was. That was a great one.
We'll put the button on it. Let's close up this show. Any final thoughts?
No, I have to go home and have a nap because someone woke me up at 5:30 this morning. So no, it wasn't you. It was actually. No, I was awake.
I didn't wake you up.
No, you didn't. I'm just teasing you. I was already awake. You know, my sleep pattern's not been. We'll talk about sleep another time. I'm too tired to talk about sleep.
Well,
this has been wonderful, darling. Thank you.
And now I'm talking so much. I'm going off on this stuff. Sarah brought up some concerns about, we don't want to be in a place where we're bringing negative news to you. This is not supposed to be negative news. Yeah. So I just want to.
But you made the point about what I'm writing about. That could be taken as negative. But negative has to come to light. We'll have to talk about the negative. We'll do that another show because I had a resolution in my mind this week about my idea about negative and positive. So,
okay, good.
Very interesting.
Well, I personally just think it's very exciting. I'm excited for everything right now.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans or anything.
Yeah.
It's about we the people opening our eyes, becoming aware of what's going on around us.
And also be entertained by it. We need to set up our own popcorn brand. I think we'll do quite well.
The Patriot
Soul Decodes popcorn.
Patriot popcorn.
Patriot popcorn.
Because why not?
Buy the domain name.
I'm going to go do it.
Do it now.
I got to do it before we publish this.
Do it, baby.
Okay, dear. Love you dearly.
Right,
Thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah.
I hope you well.
Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skin care, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri, or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.